one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Exceptional Results Now, where we believe in empowering growth minded individuals and leaders into leading with authenticity and making a lasting impact. Our mission is to bring people and planet for profit and purpose. And today I am your host. Very excited to be here with you, Rasha Swify. I am the president of Exceptional Results Now, and I'm here with my co host, the one and only Jason Safford. He is the founder and the CEO of Exceptional Results Now. And today we're going to talk about something that is extremely important to us and very dear to our hearts, which is coaching and the importance of coaching. And to start off, what I would like to do is I would love to ask Jason Safford, who is the master coach of Exceptional Results as well. What does coaching mean to you? What does it mean to have a coach?
Well, Rasha, number one, as always, I'm very grateful to be here with you. Thank you. And to our listeners, we're grateful to have you tuning in. So what does it mean to have a coach as well as what does it mean to be a coach? It's a great question. And I always like to start with the analogy of a track coach. And I want you to imagine that if you want to win the gold medal in the Olympics, how are you going to do it?
Mhm.
And you may not even know how to run. You may be a young child and you want to, you see Usain Bolt on TV and you decide that's what I want to be. The
Mhm.
first thing is you have to figure out how are you going to do this? You create that mission and how are you going to do it? And if you think that you can do it on your own, God bless you. It's a wonderful notion. But the truth is that you're going to need people to help you. And it starts
Absolutely.
with just being able to run. If you
Mhm.
don't know how to run, you're going to need somebody to help you with running. And as that may seem somewhat bizarre to some listeners because they'll be like, well, you could just pick up your legs and run. No, if you want to be an Olympic sprinter, there's techniques and mechanics and skills and tools that you have to learn how to specifically run the right way to be the best sprinter. And it
Mhm.
starts with you just have to get yourself into running shape and understanding how to run. If you don't have a coach to help you do that, you're only going to get so far.
Mhm.
That's the first true understanding. You could be the God's gift to Olympic track running, to sprinting. You could be the greatest natural talent ever created on this earth. If you don't have a coach to help you to get the most out of you, you're never going to reach your potential and surpass that potential.
Mhm.
So the importance of coaching is that you as an individual have a support system and a resource to help you to improve yourself. They're not going to do it for you. They're going to help you and drive you forward. And when I say drive you forward, what I'm talking about is the fact that you are going to, be going along the road and there's going to be an obstacle in your way. And with a coach, the coach is going to help you overcome that obstacle, remove it, whatever word you want to do to clear your path. The second thing that a coach is going to do is help you accelerate from that point forward. Because when you have an obstacle in front of you, even if you remove it, the problem is that you're not in motion. You've
Mhm.
stopped because of that obstacle. And
Mhm.
once you clear that path, now you say, yes, I'm going to go forward. And you may, but the truth is that you're going in slow motion without a coach because you now have to pick up speed again. And
Right.
when you first start out, you look back and you're like, but I was going so much faster, just a few, days, weeks, months, years ago. What happened? And you don't even understand is that you lost momentum when you hit this obstacle. And to get momentum back again, you have to start pushing yourself harder and harder to accelerate. And then once you reach a certain amount of acceleration, you're going to get velocity. And that's going to drive you forward. That's what a coach's job is to help you remove obstacles and give you that acceleration to reach maximum velocity. And when you hit the next obstacle, the coach is there. And the goal is to work with your coach to get to a level where you're in tandem with each other and you're identifying the obstacles that are coming up and you're figuring out how to remove them without losing velocity. So
I appreciate you saying that, but and thank you very much. But just to elaborate a little bit more on then what would a coach would be, would you say then since they're helping you move the obstacles out of your way, are they the guidance or are they the helping hand? Or should they be the ones removing obstacles out of your way or just showing you how to do it?
that's a great question. And the answer is actually each coach is different, number one,
Mm-hmm.
but the coach that is going to be most effective for you is one that is going to help you internally recognize your challenges and help you break through those challenges in a way that the coach isn't so much the person doing anything other than getting you to increase your performance level. So let's now look back at that track example and say
Mm-hmm.
that someone who started out and they didn't know how to run
Mm-hmm.
and they actually go to coaching right away. They go to a
Mm-hmm.
coach and they say, "Hey, I want to become the world's greatest sprinter." And the coach says, "That's wonderful. Do you know how to run?" And they say, "No,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm here for. I want you to teach me how to run." And the coach says, "Okay, do you have any shoes?" So that in and of itself allows the person to think about, what do I need first
Mm-hmm.
to get started?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are the tools, the equipments, the resources that I need to assemble
Mm-hmm.
before I should even get out on the track?
Right.
And then once you do that, you can come back to the coach. Coach, I brought all of these things together. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know how to put them on?
Mm-hmm.
And if the person says no, then
Mm-hmm.
they can ask the coach, can you show me? And the
Mm-hmm.
coach can say, well, rather than show you, let's look at it together. And you tell me, how do you think that it should be done?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there are a number of and again, you're learning my coaching style just in the way that
Right.
I'm doing this, in that
Right.
I want you to break it down at every point. As soon as you come to me and you've solved all this stuff, but now you don't, why are you coming back to me? You're
Mm-hmm.
coming back to me because you don't know what the next step is. You've
Mm-hmm.
got another obstacle. There's this obstacle in front of me. I got the shoes. Now what do I do? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now I put them on. Now what do I do? At no point are you thinking for yourself, I can see the next step, until eventually you do. And let's say now the
Mm-hmm.
person starts to think for themselves and they say, okay, what would Jason ask next?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now the person comes back and they say, I've got the shoes. Okay. So I'm going to go start running on the track because I'm sure that's what Jason's going to ask next. Right. And,
Right.
they go out there and they're running, and then they start looking around and they're just like, well, where's Jason? Because they think that they need somebody to now evaluate them. So now they come back and they say, Coach,
Mm-hmm.
I've been running. You haven't seen me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. I didn't know I was supposed to be watching you. Tell me, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
these are the things that are very important for somebody to understand, that at every step you're going to have this dance with your coach. Your coach isn't supposed to do anything other than help you understand the obstacle in front of you. And again, accelerate you forward. Where the accelerating forward really starts is once you do, exactly what what I said in terms of the person's running and they come to the coach and they say, you weren't watching me. I didn't know I was supposed to be watching you. Well, yeah, I got the track shoes, I put them on and I knew you were going to tell me, now go out there and run. So I started running. And I'd be like, okay, you knew that's what I was going to tell you. Well, yeah, because, this is what, okay. Did you stretch? And so now it's a matter of, you can throw them curveballs, get them to do this until they start asking, well, why should I stretch? And that's where you want to get them to. Once they start asking you why do I need to do that? Why do I need to do this? And this is where it becomes funny, because you could also think about this, if you're a parent, I'm a parent, once your children start asking why, you get to a point where you want to eventually say, because I told you to, or because that's the way it is. But you have to be careful, because the child, just the way the same as the person you're working with, they want to understand, and the understanding is where the acceleration begins.
Right.
The understanding is, okay, why did you ask me to stretch? Well, because if you want to run, your body needs to be stretched out and limber enough for your muscles to really work the way they're supposed to without you having an injury. That's number one. But number two is that you're exercising your body, and the more you stretch out, because when you exercise your body, you're actually going to be breaking muscle fibers and allowing them to grow. It's just natural. And there are all sorts of, internal activities that are going to be going on in your body. And what stretching does is it lets your body know, in all the different systems, especially your nervous system and your blood system, your circulatory system, that you're getting prepared to do some rigorous activity. And now it can help you. So you stretch in order for you to be in a peak physical state, now do a peak physical activity and surpass yourself. And the more that somebody understands this, they start thinking to themselves, oh, wait a second. So when I stretch, now I can go out there and I can run. And not only can I run, but I can run longer. And I can start pushing myself faster. Why would I want to do that? Well, because again, if you want to be the best in the world, what is it that you have to do? You have to put in more hours than anybody else, and you have to push yourself harder than anybody else. Those are the two criteria it takes in order to be the best. There's nothing else. Everybody, can talk about how somebody needs to be a genius. They need to, no. I'm
It's
sorry.
work ethics. It's work ethics.
It is simply about two things. It is about your time and your effort. So if you're willing to give more time than anybody else to an activity, and you're willing to give more effort than anybody else in terms of an activity, you will become the best. Now, once you become the best, what does it take to stay there?
Right.
It takes even more time and more effort, but it takes a third component. And that third component is the same thing that got you to that place. It's your head, your mindset. And again, this is what a coach is more than anything else. So if you step all the way back to the beginning, when I asked, do you have any shoes? What am I doing as a coach?
Now you're allowing them to think about the things that they specifically need. And then why do I need them? Which I think that this is definitely key, because at this point, you're teaching by experience, and it's the way that the mind operates. It needs to go through the experience, not just the theory, so that it could resonate with them, and then they'll have the feeling and the emotion that goes with doing the action that you suggested, and now those are the steps that they're taking. So no, that definitely makes sense. Now, tell me this, what are your thoughts about someone that would say, well, I can watch a couple of videos and I can try it out myself. I don't need a coach. I've always done well on my own. Why would I go and get some coaching?
It's a great question. And of course, with our YouTube generation and TikTok and everything else that's out there, everybody
Right.
believes that it's as simple as just watching some videos and being a visual learner. And if you believe that's all you need, that's wonderful. It will show in your results. And the other thing that we have to, recognize is that what's really being expressed there right off the bat
Hmm.
is my level of focus and attention
Hmm.
is not very high.
Hmm.
And if you go back
And
to,
why is that?
say again,
Why would that be? Why would the level of attention and focus not be very high?
because if somebody is saying, I just need to watch a few videos, I
Hmm.
just need,
Hmm.
they simply cut off everything possible with those three words. I just need.
Hmm.
Well, if that's all you need, then why are you struggling? You already know. It should have already been done.
Right.
That's the first thing. The second thing is that if that is all you need, then anybody can do it.
Hmm.
And is everybody doing it? No, because most people don't have coaches, number one. And because of that, number two, the level of effort, the level of results that they are going to get on their own is based on the amount of energy that they are actually putting into the activity. And if we
Hmm.
just discussed the focus and attention being low,
Hmm.
do you think the amount of energy and effort is going to be very high?
Right. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Where's the motivation there?
Well, and understand that motivation isn't necessarily um, the key, but it is important.
Hmm.
Motivation is something that comes and goes. It's basically an emotion
Hmm.
that you
Hmm.
get very motivated to do something, but then you have to take action. And if you
Hmm.
don't take action in a peak state, you're very quickly going to lose
The
that
level
motivation.
drops.
Yeah, and we can think about that in terms of Sir Isaac Newton and his law of motion, which
Hmm.
is an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object at
Hmm.
rest tends to stay at rest.
Yes.
So if you're in a peak state but you're not doing anything, well, guess
Right.
what? It's going to be very hard for you
Hmm.
to get where you want to go. And that goes back to, again, when you are struggling with something and you want to break through, you want to get past that obstacle, you want to move forward. The reality is just because you remove the obstacle doesn't drive you forward, because now you have to
Hmm.
get into motion.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that is where a coach can help you. First, they can help you with removing the obstacle, but then they can help you with actually driving forward, accelerating, and getting to velocity.
Hmm.
And that's the important thing for people to understand about why do you need a coach? Well, you need a coach because, again, when you get to this obstacle, even if you remove it by yourself, hey, I could just watch some videos on YouTube. Yeah, you can, and that might help you remove the obstacle. But what are you going to do next to get yourself into motion? And this is
Hmm.
where there are three keys to a breakthrough. And I
Hmm.
credit Tony Robbins for this because he breaks it down so simply in terms of the three keys. And the first thing is, obviously you have to have a strategy. Okay.
Right.
So you remove the obstacle, you've got a clear path forward. What's your strategy? Well, I'm just going to drive forward. Okay.
Hmm.
Are you in drive?
Hmm.
Do you have your foot on the accelerator or the brake?
Hmm.
Okay. Are your eyes on the front of the road? Is the car even on?
Hmm.
Okay. Do you have wheels on your car? Are the wheels inflated? you know,
Mhm.
and I'm sure one of our listeners is like, oh, Jason, you're going into too much, silly details here. But no, it's absolutely important. Is there oil
Right.
in the engine? Is there gas in the tank? There are so many things that you have to check, and now we can go back to, the track example of, all the things. Track is simple. You just need a pair of running shoes, right? Well, no, if you don't have the right running gear, you're going to, have drag on your body. So that's going to slow you down. If the wind is going, against you, that's going to slow you down. There are
Right.
all sorts of factors that, if you're running on on an incline or a decline, you're going to get a different result than if you're running on a
Mhm.
straight track, right? If the track is in good condition or bad condition. That there are so many things that you have to evaluate, and that goes into your strategy. You have to assess everything. Okay. So
Mhm.
this is where information and planning play a huge part of how you're going to drive forward. And the second thing is that you have to have a story. And I give Tony Robbins a lot of credit for this because he is the master of getting you to understand that story is more than just telling a story like two guys walked into a bar, which is a
Mhm.
joke, but it's also a story. The what he is talking about is that there is a story you tell yourself about yourself. Okay. And what
Mhm.
that story is has nothing to do with emotions or actions. It has to do with energy.
Mhm.
Okay. So if you feed yourself positive energy, the story that I tell myself is I am an exceptional human being who is capable of achieving anything I want to as long as I put my mind to it.
Mhm.
Okay. How is that story going to impact you when you talk to other people?
It's going to change the conversation, and then for you personally, the decisions that you're going to take.
That's exactly right. So having a coach to help you identify the right story to tell yourself and then be able to tell other people. So the story that you may have about yourself may not be the right story. Yes, you went through certain things, but what is it about
Mhm.
those certain things that were positive rather than negative?
Mhm.
Where is the gratitude for everything that you've been given in life, even if it's horrible experiences? They're
Right.
still gifts. And
Mhm.
somebody's like, wait, horrible experiences are gifts? Yes, they're gifts because they were given to you, not to
Mhm. Mhm.
anybody else. And so I'd be like,
Mhm.
well, why would I want to have terrible experiences? Because when you look at those terrible experiences as gifts to be able to share with somebody else that I went through this, the amount of impact that you have on other people. And here's, where cancer survivors go
Mm.
through a horrible existence.
Yeah.
Imagine what it's like to know that there is a ticket that's going to be punched on your life,
Mm.
and you can take control of that situation, but it's not a guarantee.
Right.
So once you stop and look at that and realize that even the worst news in the world is a gift. So a coach has that opportunity to help an individual with a good or bad situation to realize that they have a story that they can tell themselves about whatever that situation is. And that allows them to put one foot in front of the other.
Yes.
Then once they've got this story and they're putting one foot in front of the other, now the question is, are they doing it in the right alignment, in the right fashion, at the right speed? Where's their tempo, their timing? Where are all of these things so that they can get faster and faster? And that gets to the third part of, what really makes a breakthrough, and that's state. And, you know, the idea of state, people are just like, well, there's the United States, there's a state of New York, there's a state of Texas, there's all these different states. There's a state of grace,
Mhm.
state of mind.
Mhm.
And that's what we're talking about, is the state of mind. And it's your overall state, your physical body state, as well as your mind,
Mhm.
your overall body as a whole energy. And what are you doing to really get yourself into a peak state? Again, credit to Tony Robbins. What he does is he tries to get you to really use your physical biology to get yourself into a peak state. But the other thing that you need to do is, again, you need to find that positive energy. You need to get into environments that make
Right.
your state easier to change. For me
Mm-hmm.
personally, I walk in the woods. I get into nature.
Mm-hmm.
That changes my state more than anything else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is it's the type of activity. It's not just, the physical activity, but if you're doing something that is um, giving you excitement and learning and overall, just really improving you. So if you play a sport, okay, that really can change your state because it gets your mind going. It gets you thinking in terms of different complexities and algorithms in your own head of what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is then the point of now being able to accelerate, because once you do these things, now you're able to really think about, okay, at any moment, if I just shift one thing or another, I might get even faster. I might,
Mm-hmm.
be able to, break free of the coming obstacles. And you also are able to look further ahead, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, again, strategy, story, and state are the three things to, really having a breakthrough. But the final thing, that really culminates it, and this is where a coach is, incredibly valuable to someone, and they can say, okay, now I understand why, or, how does a coach work? But, or what does a coach do? When do I need a coach, right? You need a coach the minute that you realize that you want to be better. Okay. At
Mm-hmm.
anything, you need a
Mm-hmm.
coach. You need to find somebody that's better than you and see if that they'll coach you. But that doesn't mean that they're a good coach. The most important thing is execution. Okay. And I always love Jim Rohn's, thing about strategy,
Yes.
where he talks about you could have the best strategy in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if your goal is to see a sunrise and you're running west, well, guess what? You're
Mm-hmm.
never going to get there. And, somebody will say that that's, the wrong strategy, but it's also the execution. Okay. Because, if you're only running in one direction, that's your strategy. But if you're also thinking about it from, I'm not getting a result that I want, at some point you have to be willing to stop and say, maybe I just need to run in the other direction. And I'll give you a perfect example of that, because what it comes down to is decisions. Leadership is about making decisions, good or bad. Okay. And that is execution.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, the strategy was, I'm going to run west. Okay. That was the decision right there. And the execution is you start running west. If very
Mm-hmm.
quickly you realize that that was not the right strategy, if you stop and say, you know what, now I'm going to run east or north or south, at least by turning in some direction, you might actually see the sun and be like, wait a second, I need to go in this direction now.
Exactly.
That's decision making. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing to leadership and accelerating and driving forward. And that's where, again, the coach hands the keys to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The coach is responsible for getting you prepared, helping you build your strategy, your story, and your state. But the most important thing that a coach has to be able to help you do is understand that it is your decision at all
Mm-hmm.
times. You must
Mm-hmm.
be the one to take action,
Mm-hmm.
massive action. And the more
Mm-hmm.
action that you're willing to take is the more results you're going to get. And the more action that you're willing to take in the right strategy, the right state, the right story is the exceptional results you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Excellent. That's excellent, Jason. And I think one of the biggest takeaways listening to you here, that it isn't just about taking action and be courageous and believing in yourself and having that faith and knowing that you want to get things done, but it's also extremely important. It's about taking the right action, making the right decision, going into the right direction.
Yeah.
And in doing so, having the right coach is going to help you make that right decision. Coaching, in the end of the day, as you very well stated, isn't going to help an individual unless that person is actually taking that information and doing something about it. They're taking the proper steps and using that information to invest in themselves and making the proper decisions. And if you are at a point where you feel like watching a video is good enough for you, or reading a book is going to be good enough, that may that might suffice, and it would only get you up to a particular point. But as you very well stated, if you want to accelerate, if you want to improve and really reach those new heights and be exceptional, then you're going to have someone with you to guide you through those next steps, and just making sure that your energy, your time and efforts are not wasted.
That's right,
Okay.
Rasha. And I want to just caveat that it's not just guiding you, it's driving you.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
it's really getting, it's a foot in your, in your derriere.
Right. Right.
And it's also, just getting you to understand that you're capable of more than you think of. We have unlimited human energy. Every time you think that you're incapable of doing something and you go after it and you do it with all your might, guess what? You realize you can do even more. They've done all these studies with, weightlifting and anything else. They got a guy to psychologically, you know, lift 400 pounds when he'd never lifted before. And then he was able to lift even more. Every time you push yourself and you reach a goal, you get more energy the next day to go even
Mm-hmm,
further.
mm-hmm,
And that is what is amazing. The only resource that we do not have in infinite quality is time.
mm-hmm,
And it's very important to understand this formula. Work divided by time equals power.
mm-hmm,
The more work you do in the less time is what creates the incredible power you have. So learning that in the beginning, yeah, you may suck at something and you need a lot of
mm-hmm.
time to get good at it. But the
Right.
better you get at it, the less time you need to create better and better results. And if
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm,
keep improving, and all you have to do is
mm-hmm,
improve 1% every day, within a certain amount of time, you will have that incredible power. And
mm-hmm.
Rasha, I want to just jump back on one other thing you said, which is
Yeah.
about choosing the right coach. And I want to highlight this example for our listeners just so they understand that if you want to learn how to play the piano and you have a personal trainer who's helping you to lift weights and they
Mm-hmm,
tell you that they know how to play the piano and you
mm-hmm,
ask them to coach you
mm-hmm,
on playing the piano,
mm-hmm,
how good a piano player do you think you're going to be?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We just
So,
use.
so in other words, finding the right coach is a matter of understanding if there is a specific thing that you want to accomplish, and somebody says, "Oh, I can help you do that," but it's not what they really do. In other words, a personal trainer is great at helping you lift weights in the gym and getting you
Right.
psychologically focused on that. But if you want to learn to play the piano just because they say, "Oh, I was a, classically trained piano or whatever it was, I went to a conservatory," it's like, "Well, that's great. What did you do with it?"
Right.
And if you didn't do that much with it, yeah, you have all these years of practice yourself and being able to show someone literally how to play scales. But are you the right coach for that person? And,
Mm-hmm.
truthfully, is that person going to get the results from you, from that coach
Right.
that you want?
Where's
So
the level of expertise?
that's exactly right. So understanding that not everybody is the right coach for the right person, and not everybody is the right person for the
Right.
right coach. There has to be the right fit, and you have to be willing to understand that and accept that I could get you any results you want as a master coach. But the truth is that there are things that I don't know, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
willing to learn them and work on them. I'm always, every day I'm always trying to learn something new and be good at it. But if there is a result that you are really trying to get with, what it is that you want to do, there might be a better coach out there. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I train coaches who are
Mm-hmm.
specifically good at their areas of expertise, so we can help you. So, if you are looking for, a specific thing that you want to be better at, we can find the right coach for you to be better
Mm-hmm.
at that activity.
Well, that's excellent, Jason. I'm so glad that you brought that up because it does transition us really well into our discussion for next week, which is next week we're going to pick up where we're leaving off right now into how to choose the right coach for you. Because everyone, just as you very well stated, cannot be the right person for to coach in that specific area for everyone. So you have to choose the person that has the level of expertise that you're looking for to help you improve in that one specific area. And then could also be a person that you could work with because there is a lot of cooperation and back and forth within that relationship. So thank you very much, Jason. Enjoyed having you today. I appreciate all the valuable information that you shared here with us. And I hope that everyone did understand, especially the 3 points that you brought out into strategy, the story, and also understanding it, like your specific mindset, your state of mind, which having the proper coach would also not only help you create those three, but in essence, as you continue to grow and develop, you will see a shift in all three areas. You would have a new story to tell and a more powerful story to tell, and your state of mind will continue to improve. So, really appreciate that, Jason. Thank you for the valuable information. And for everyone, we look forward to seeing you next week as we continue our discussion on talking about choosing the right coach for you.
Rasha, as always, grateful. Thank you so much. And to our listeners, I hope you enjoyed and grateful to have you.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.